Guys, we're in Needham today, and I want to talk about something that anyone that's building a home is probably experiencing. We have our 400 amp service coming into this home. What has been a huge issue for many months, some of our projects over a year, waiting for 400 amp disconnects. Massachusetts has allowed us to install a dual disconnect. So we have our meter bank, we have our 400 amp service coming in, and rather than the traditional one 400 amp disconnect, we have two 200 amp disconnects. That makes it more challenging. Number one, we need double the equipment. This goes down to two 200 amp panels in the basement. We also have a sub panel up on the second floor, but it makes it really challenging because we're trying to put the right equipment in, but we're dealing with equipment delays. Thankfully, it's allowed here with single family residential, so it's been a solution. But what that means for us is it has delayed our permanent power in this home. When you're building a new home, you're going to be setting up temporary electrical. We have a pole over there that runs into the home, feeding us ample electrical, and then we go to those spider boxes that we've showed you guys on our channel before. They are powerful. We do have a good amount of power coming in, but when this site is very busy, lots of trades, lots of cords, a lot of power being needed, that's why we've made a huge push towards a lot more cordless tools. For many years now, you've seen obviously drills and skill saws become cordless. Today we're actually going to be looking at one of our new cordless miter saws. So thanks to our sponsor Festool on this video. They actually sent us the brand new cordless miter saw as well as cordless vacuum. And the guys inside have been using it for the interior trim. So we have a huge molding package here, and we have a lot of carpenters on site. And you're going to oftentimes see this KS120, which is a corded miter saw, set up with our vacuum over here. This has been tried and true. We have a handful of those for our carpenters. But over here, we actually just set up the brand new KSC 60, as well as our CTC MIDI vacuum. What you don't see is any cords. Oftentimes, our vacuum is plugged into the wall, and that is where all of our power is coming in. So this would be tied into our spider box or eventually our permanent power coming out of a receptacle. There is no cord on this vacuum. It actually runs off two batteries here, and that's going to power this vacuum throughout the entire day and really consistent power. And then from there, oftentimes we have our miter saw plugged into the vacuum. That's because what happens is the miter saw gets its power from the vacuum, and when you pull the trigger on that miter saw, it turns the vacuum on, and that gets the power from, you know, a spider box or a wall. Here it does not. So one of the benefits, or one of the nice things that they've added, is this essentially Bluetooth receiver. And this Bluetooth receiver is at the back port of this saw. So when I turn that saw on, this right here talks to the vacuum and turns that on. Now, you might be thinking, well, why do I need a sensor? Why can't I just have a cord? The whole point of this is to be cordless, to remove cords. So you do have a hose, but you don't have that secondary cord connected to it. Oftentimes you would see the electrical cord. A lot of guys will zip tie it or wrap it with the cord, but they're oftentimes also done loose. The saw is also running off two batteries here. This is a slightly smaller saw. It's designed to be compact, and it's designed to be versatile. They've actually changed the way that you locate the saw blade on a piece of stock. So on the 120, you actually had a laser line that would come down, and that laser needed to be calibrated and checked every so often. This actually uses an LED light that shines down and creates a shadow line. So as you bring your blade down, that shadow line is going to be right where that blade's going to cut. And it's essentially working off of the direction of that light and the actual saw blade. So it's always where it needs to be. Some of the other things that they've changed is the ergonomics of the handle. You have this part here that is your first lock, which you're gonna engage with your palm. You have your trigger under here, but then this is your thumb button. So pulling all three of those, that's going to give you the ability to turn the saw on. Without pulling all three of those, you're not able to do that. So it keeps you really safe and really intentional on how this saw turns on, so you're not accidentally turning it on when, say, you have your hand in the cut zone. It has the extension wings. One of our carpenters actually pointed out that you can take these protective caps, which always broke, snap them onto the leg here so they're not falling on the floor and getting kicked around and essentially getting broken. The base that folds up onto the UG cart, which is great, roll it right out into the van, and be ready for the next job. How does this tie into who we are at NS Builders? So we staff our own carpentry team, and our own carpentry team is designed to be mobile and agile, and we're not framing this entire home, but we're going to be on site doing a lot of the carpentry. But at the same time, we may have a need to jump to another job site, to our Boston renovation project, and the guys need the ability to pack their stuff up and get to that job in a timely manner and be really efficient. Tools that allow us to be more portable and also being really high performing. We need them to be reliable, and that's really why we've looked to Festool as a partner when it comes to tools and supporting our carpentry staff here at NS Builders. The guys really rely on them because they know that they're going to perform, and they're always going to be looking for that next way to innovate and make our job easier.